Did Michael Zerafa quit? So the fight itself, it was a good fight. 2 rounds, good back and forth. Nikita was a lot more tougher and a lot more game than I thought. You know, he was willing to fight. He was willing to stand. There wasn't too much retreating. And then an accidental head clash in round number 2. The place where the cut was a terrible place, right? It was underneath the eyelid and like in the center of the eye, maybe slightly towards the outside. But a terrible place to be cut. Round number 3 starts. Zerafa gets checked by the referee, and then he uttered those famous words, "I can't see Michael Zerafa." Dude, that's insane. And then the referee comes in and he lets him know what is going to happen. And us boxers, we all know what happens when an accidental head clash happens in the first 4 rounds and you sustain the cut. If the fight gets stopped from the accidental head clash, it goes to a no contest. So he doesn't lose, it just goes to a no contest. Like the fight never happened. I guess that's what he saw. He saw an out and he took it. Now this is completely frowned upon in the fight community because we are the opposite of that, right? If we get hurt, we don't show it. if something happens, we don't care. You know what I mean? We just fight on. If you get a bad cut, who cares? This isn't ballet, bro. Like, you know, 2 of you guys are in here to fight. We fight. So that happened. And now the internet is going crazy. Actually, the fight night itself, when the referee called it off, well, to be fair, when Zarafa called it off, the crowd went nuts. So a couple of things got thrown in the ring, which was expected. I honestly thought that it was going to be worse because of who Michael Zerafa is and what he's been saying throughout the whole lead up, what he's been saying in the past few years about the Zoo brothers and the Zoo family, and then for this to happen and for it to end like this, crazy. I thought the repercussion was going to be worse. The crowd did not like it. A lot of name calling from the crowd just booing him, walking out of the arena. But is the hate that Michael Zerafa is getting, is that warranted? Does he deserve it? In a way, yes. The reason why he's been receiving such bad backlash from this is because of the lead up and who he is, and also just the way it came about. It was like out of nowhere. So he got cut. He called the fight off himself. The referee told him what's going to happen. He agreed. And then when the referee called it off, Michael Zerafa started shaking his head and started putting everything onto the doctor and the ref. Brother, you agreed to it. They told you what was going to happen and you nodded your head and you said, yeah. And then when he started waving it off and then he's like, oh, what? Doctor didn't give me a chance. Bro, that's part of the reason why he's been getting such bad backlash. I guess he thought that he could go in there, get his money, don't take a win, don't take a loss, just go home and possibly get a rematch. But I think after all of this, I don't think he's going to be on that promotion anytime soon. Maybe in the distant future, but definitely not anytime soon. Because I think that promoter was probably pissed. Anyway, the card itself, terrific card. So where I watched it was from the Ivich and the Taliva fight. Now that was a terrific fight. I thought it was a great showing of Taliva. When I first watched it, I thought, oh man, this is Taliva, bro. Taliva is like, he's showcasing his head movement, forward pressure, and he's swinging in with big shots. But after reviewing the fight for the second time, yeah, those mid rounds, where Taliva kind of slowed down with the punches that he was throwing, and Ivich was like returning some shots, even though Taliva still kept the momentum and pushing Ivich back. Ivich found a little bit more success in those mid to late rounds. So close fight, and with close fights, it's always going to sound controversial, but that's just how it is. Close fight, it could have gone either way. It is what it is. I wonder if they're going to run it back. I would love to see them fight again. Ivich, bro, he's been so surprising. He's been beating guys at a really good level. Now, moving on to the next fight, the big Solomona and Latimore fight. Yeah, just a clean uppercut, bro. The guy is huge. He's 6'7". 6'7", Massive dude. His arms are like the size of my legs, freaking huge, and he knocks out the guy the same way that he knocked out his previous opponent. Long lead hand, big uppercut, and he found the chin, popped his head up. He went to the ground, didn't get up in time for the count. Solomona wins. And I think what's impressive with Solomona is that he caught out where he should be, right? What I mean by that is that he's very aware of where he's at and where he can make his money. So he's not looking towards, like right now, I definitely know he's going to be training like a professional boxer. He's going to be trying to upskill in every single way. He is a professional athlete. He comes from the sport of rugby league. Those guys are freak athletes, and they transition well into boxing. Well, they can transition into any type of sport, right? They got the cardio, they got the explosiveness, they got the mentality. So him coming into professional boxing, great. But him calling out other league players, I think that's a very, very smart move. Because you don't want to, like, go into the professional boxing scene where you're calling out actual heavyweights too early, right? Maybe down the line he might do that, but I think there's plenty of money there to be made for him and his opponent at their level. So I think what he done after the fight was terrific. He called out and said that he can fight any league player. He called out all the league players. Smart move. And for my young fighters, take a look on where he was in the card. Take a look on the media that was there for him. The biggest negotiating power and the biggest thing that would be a factor into you getting the most dollars is star power. Your skills have to be number one, because at the end of the day, you are in there to fight. And if you can't fight, then there's no money to be made. So if you can fight, terrific. Apart from that, star power. If you can get a lot of bums on seats, if you can get attention, because Solomona came from the world of rugby league and everyone knows him, and he goes into this fight card and he's put above the national title fight. That is insane, bro. That's borderline disrespectful. But that's what star power gets. So if you're a young person coming into the game, build up your brand. Whatever it is, put it on social media, let people know who you are. Don't be camera shy, because at the end of the day, you are going to be fighting in front of people regardless. And if they don't know who you are, they aren't going to give a damn, bro. They aren't going to pay the tickets. They are not going to pay the pay-per-view. So you need to seek their attention. This is an entertainment business at the end of the day. Dempsey, McKeen, and Tuese. Terrific result for Dempsey McKeen. Tuese, like I said, he brings it every single time. He was explosive in moments. His he was so entertaining, because when was it? At the end of the first round or the second round, where the fight kind of ended on the ground, and then he's like to Dempsey McKeen, "You're a bitch, you're a bitch." Bro, that was so funny, bro. And then throughout the fight, bro, you just kind of see him constantly calling him on and pointing to the ground. Bro, I love it, man. As a fan of the sport, I love these kind of theatrics and antics. But the way the fight went, Dempsey McKeen, he fought a brilliant fight. He kept moving, he planted his feet sometimes and just threw combinations at his range. His range, very, very long range. Tuese did push, but he always found himself at the end of Dempsey McKeen's range, and Dempsey McKeen just let his hands go throughout the whole fight. And then on round number 7, he finally tagged him in enough times. He pushed him back onto the ropes, started piling on the punches, hooks, straights, uppercuts. Bro, those uppercuts were key. After every combination, he would end it with an uppercut, and then Tuise's head would pop up. And then the referees see that, the judges see that, and then that's a mental note that that the fighter's obviously leaning towards Dempsey McKeen. And he done that throughout the whole fight. And then the way he stopped it, he just piled on pressure. The referee saw enough. That was it. There was a bit of a argument from Tuese on towards why the fight was stopped. Tuise's tough. He definitely probably could have maybe lasted the round, but man, he was getting hit, especially on those mid rounds, and then towards the end of round 6, started getting tagged a lot more. Round number 7, fight stopped. Brilliant performance for Dempsey McKeen. And now he's back towards the world stage, you know. He's back on up. Maybe we're going to see him on the world stage very soon. Terrific news for him. After this whole thing, what happens now with Michael Zerafa? He said he is probably not going to fight again. We'll see. Would you guys like to see him fight again? Let us know. Thank you guys for watching.